The fog is rather thicker than I imagined, Hubert. And if I'm not mistaken...
Yes, I agree. Dark magic is assuredly the cause. We already know those who slither in the dark have had comings and goings at House Row. I doubt one of them is here, but there could be a mage present who received their training.
Then we had best leverage our own assets.
Why is everyone whispering? Is the enemy aware of our coming?
It's entirely possible, yes. They could be directly on top of us, and we would scarcely know it. So yes, let us all stay on our toes. Prudent of you to bring it up, Ferdinand.
Ah, thank you. I mean, thank you.
Why so quiet, Caspar? Normally you'd be at the front of the line making all kinds of racket.
What, you think I'm the kind of guy who'd get all scared and give our position away? Sorry, I'm not afraid of anything.
You're unusually quiet, Petra. Did you not get enough sleep or something? I am listening to our surroundings. Nothing has more danger than fog. One incorrect step and you will be losing your life.
Can we all try to relax? I'm pretty sure we're alone out here, so let's just calm down before we wear ourselves out.
Sometimes you all make me think we're still back at the academy.
Is that supposed to be a compliment?
Well, great. I was hoping to finish this before reinforcements arrived, but so be it. I will prioritize locating Lord Lonato. Can I leave the Imperial troops to you?
I know what to do, so let me do it already. Just mind this fog, and make sure you don't attack the wrong side.
That goes for you as well. Let us see if you can live up to your reputation.
Well, we did it.
Yet you're still the saddest looking fighter in camp. Why the long face?
Because we only barely got the job done. Everything else was a miserable failure. Sure, we saved Lonato and put Gerald and his mercenaries to rout. But we let the kingdom's troops get away in the process. And if that wasn't bad enough, I failed to beat the Ashen Demon. Basically, we lost in nearly every way you can lose.
Wrong. You were hired to do a job, and you did it. And in the process, you've received a valuable reminder about the unique danger the Ashen Demon poses.
You're right. I can't believe one fighter could turn the tide of an entire battle like that.
Precisely. They're surely going to continue standing in our way, so do try to dig a little deeper the next time you square off.
Then I guess my goal hasn't changed. Thanks for the encouragement.
We must make haste. There's not a moment to lose. Understood. Randolph, take your troops to Arian Road and await further instruction from Hubert.
Leave it to me, Your Majesty.
Why is everyone so worked up? What happened?
It seems the troops we stationed in the Alliance are in danger, and serious danger at that. Gloucester and the other lords betrayed them, and now they have been completely cut off.
No.
The word betrayal suggests they were on our side in the first place. But I think we can safely assume that was never their intent. This whole time they were simply waiting for us to move the rest of our army toward the kingdom. As soon as they saw an opportunity, they cut off routes to the Great Bridge of Myrden and Garreg Mach. Now that our troops are trapped on Alliance lands, House Regan and House Gloucester have them surrounded on both sides. It's doubtless one of Claude's clever little stratagems, and it stings.
I don't understand. Everyone is aware of the troubled history between Regan and Gloucester. Why would they decide to bury the hatchet now? Unless this supposed feud is little more than a web Claude has spun for this exact moment.
Perhaps it is, but perhaps not. For all we know, he wants us to overthink the situation and make a greater mistake.
We better stay on our toes. This all fell together too perfectly to be some kind of unhappy accident.
I suppose. All I know is that our reinforcements will never make it there in time. The direct route east risks running into both Kingdom and Alliance forces. But if we attempt to skirt around them, we will all be aged in gray before we ever reach Gloucester.
Which means our only option is marching south. We'll regroup on this side of the Aramid River, retake the Great Bridge of Myrden to cover our backs, and then cut through the enemy cordon.
That doesn't sound a whole lot faster. Will our troops be able to hold out that long?
I would say no, but these are no ordinary soldiers. They are commanded by our greatest warrior, Count Leopold von Bergliez, the Minister of Military Affairs, and a man who has never lost even one battle. If anyone can rally our troops and convince them to hold, it's him.
What a brilliant trap. The Regan boys even craftier than they say.
I agree, sir. Even Count Gloucester's inept army seems to be acting with remarkable discipline. But will the reinforcements reach us in time?
The real question is, are they coming at all? Because if they're on the way, they'll make it in time. So long as I draw breath, they will make it. So count on them coming. Her Majesty would never abandon us.
Yes, sir.
Soldiers of the Empire, I know fear gnaws at your hearts, and that's nothing to be ashamed of. Don't run from this fear. Embrace it. Take measure of the enemy that surrounds us, and look them square in the face. Yes, we're outmaneuvered and face a vicious fight ahead. But pray to the goddess for protection, and her fire will fill your soul and temper your resolve. Our only duty here is to stay alive, be fearful of death, and let not a single soldier fall needlessly. Raise your voices with me now. Let me hear your courage. We will not lose.
Wow, these guys aren't backing down. If anything, they actually seem more excited than before. How is that possible? They're completely surrounded. No one will ever reach them in time.
Yes, but Count Bergliez is their commander. And I'm guessing a lot of those troops are veterans of the Dagda and Bridget War. During that conflict, the Count's troops held off wave after wave of Dagda soldiers right to the very end. Our force must look tame in comparison.
Okay, so what now? I wanted this to be clean, but we're looking at a complete bloodbath on both sides. What I want is the upper hand against the Empire, not these people's lives.
And there's honor in that, but I don't think they're going to play along.
They don't have to accept every part of it. I just thought they might be, you know, scared. Well, so be it. They may have boundless courage, but they don't have boundless food. If Count Bergliez wants me to tighten the snare, that's exactly what I'll do.
Scarlet Blaze. Bridge of Betrayal. The Empire achieves early success in the war thanks to House Gloucester, a noble alliance house whose vows of allegiance and safe passage were key to the quick capture of Garreg Mach. But Count Gloucester breaks his oath and turns on Burgleys' troops. Trapped in hostile territory with their supply routes severed, the Imperial Army's outlook appears bleak.
I fear I may have miscalculated, my son.
How can that be possible, Father? We have the enemy surrounded.
Yes, and they have yet to give a damn. Time grows short, and soon Edelgard's reinforcements will descend upon the Alliance.
Then we will hold them off at the Great Bridge.
And they will find another way. If they manage to take even one of the Aramid River's crossings, they can break through our ranks. And while that may not spell immediate defeat, it will dash any hopes of Count Burgleys' surrender. Eventually, Edelgard's army will wash over the land, and then, my son, we will be defeated.
Speak plain, Father. I beg of you. What does this mean for House Gloucester?
Do not fret, Lawrence. This was a leap of faith we had to take to better our territory's fortunes. When Claude came to me with this offer, I determined the reward to be worth the risk. If the gambit fails, so be it. All it means is that our house will have to swear allegiance to the Empire.
Edelgard will never settle for such. She will demand... Oh, Father. No.
I am proud of you, my son. You have grown into a man strong and wise enough to lead our house.
Is there nothing that can be done? What of your dream to claim the Alliance leadership from House Regan?
It is your house now. You determine our path. Besides, when the dust finally settles from this war, there may not be an alliance to lead.
So I am to submit to the Empire and carve out as big a place for our family as I can? Is that it? You would have me put an end to the Leicester Alliance?
Perhaps my praise of your wisdom was ill-advised. You get ahead of yourself, Lawrence. We bend the knee only if we lose, not before. And as you said, we may yet be able to drive back the Emperor's reinforcements and win the day. Always think 2 steps ahead, my son. Be clever. Survive. That is the lesson I seek to impart. I had best go prepare for my final battle as Count Gloucester. However this plays out, look for a way for our house to prosper, and seize it, Lawrence. Seize it! That is how Irvin Fritz Gloucester fights, and it is how you must fight as well.
Well, we managed to slog our way to the encampment. Now we just have to finalize our plan.
Why is it so important to hold part of the Aramid riverbank again? I mean, wouldn't it make more sense to cross over into Alliance territory before it's too late?
If we do, we risk the enemy cutting off our retreat. We are here to break their siege, not fall prey to one.
If we don't conduct this rescue carefully, we'll be worse off than we started. We must be smart. And that means establishing at least one bridgehead in addition to the Great Bridge of Murden.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
The Minister is a general of much endurance. He will be holding out until we arrive. He is more than a warrior and a maker of strategies. It would lack wisdom to be making an enemy of him.
Yep, that's my father. No one can beat him. I just hope I can be half the warrior he is one day.
I think even 1.5 Burgleyses would be more than enough. Not that it's any of my business.
So, what are we to do about House Gloucester? They have indicated a willingness to swear fealty, for whatever that pittance of a promise is worth. That leaves only Phlegathon and Ordelia. And I doubt very much that anyone would take us to task for dismantling them.
The head of House Ordelia is one of the 5 great lords. Dismantling them, as you say, would hamper Her Majesty's ability to rule effectively in the future. Consider, for example, why we chose not to dismantle House Ire.
Because I belong to House Ire, and you did not have to. Ah, of course. You are happy so long as they install successors who are willing to toe the line.
That is the plan, yes. House Phlegathon, however, must be disposed of. Their lord, Acheron, has leveraged his control of the Great Bridge to do whatever he well pleases. I have a suspicion the Alliance desires him gone as badly as we do.
Lawrence Gloucester and Lysithea von Ordelia were Her Majesty's schoolmates, yes? They may be more willing to listen to reason than the others.
Sure, but Claude went to the Officers' Academy too.
And he's taken a firm stance against the Empire. Do you really think this can be handled via diplomacy?
That will depend on precisely what their demands are. But first, we must retake the Great Bridge and extricate Count Burgles and his troops. Let us focus our energies on that for the time being.
Agreed. And it would behoove us all not to overlook how devious Claude can be just because we went to the Academy together. If he's not willing to come to the table, I won't hesitate to meet him on the battlefield instead.
I won't hold back either. Sometimes you have to kill old friends in this line of work. It's just how it is.
What did your investigation uncover, Hubert?
It appears those who slither in the dark had nothing to do with any of this. This plot was hatched by Houses Regan and Gloucester alone.
In other words, we know exactly where the idea to encircle our troops came from. Claude von Regan, leader of the Alliance.
He is going to be a true thorn in our side now that he is in charge. Back when Duke Regan had no clear heir, the lords were busy maneuvering to be next in line. Then Claude appeared in an instant and laid claim to the seat of power. We were hoping that would be enough to throw the Alliance into disarray, but he has done a remarkable job of seizing the reins.
Feigning discord with Gloucester while they privately schemed together was an especially nice touch. Sadly, it seems we're facing a gifted tactician as well as a skilled leader.
Yet for a tactician, he woefully underestimated Count Burgles. I say we finish his education. It is time Claude learns the gulf between his power and the Empire's cannot be bridged with a few clever tricks.
We'll reach the Great Bridge of Myrden soon. Houses Phlegathon and Gloucester are defending it, just as we anticipated. But Ladislava has done her job and broken through the enemy line for us. I intend to claim a swift victory and return her to us whole.
If possible, the members of House Gloucester are to be taken alive. As we discussed previously, killing them will jeopardize Her Majesty's ability to rule effectively.
If any enemy commanders appear open to persuasion, try to convince them to surrender. Our goal here is not to utterly annihilate our foes. The fewer casualties, the better. That said, anyone who refuses to submit must be struck down without mercy.
I know when to catch and when to kill. I am often being faced with such decisions on the hunt.
You expect me to make that kind of decision in the heat of battle?
You just do what you always do, Bernadetta. If it's all right with you, I'd prefer to focus on the diplomacy part. I'm not much for bloodshed.
Then you may leave that part to me. I will happily deal with any soldiers you cannot. should be a simple enough matter to determine which of our enemies wishes to live and which will choose the way of death.
We'd better not misjudge anyone, or else our lives will be the ones in danger.
Then we should fight first and ask questions later. When in doubt, take them out. Am I right? We can sweat the small stuff when the battle's over. Until then, I'll do what I do best.
I believe we should all do what we do best. If we do, I feel confident we will emerge on top when the dust settles.
Victory is the most important thing, so leave the vanguard to me.
Then, if everyone is prepared, let us show them the might of the Empire.
We won, but this is no time to rest easy. There's a lot more work still to be done.
Agreed. We will leave some troops here with the wounded to hold our position. Then take the reconsolidated force north without delay. Sadly, there can be no victory celebration until we have extricated Count Berglies and the others.
Based on our projections, they will run out of provisions at any moment. We can also assume they know we have made it to Gloucester, meaning they will be waiting for us. But each hour they wait is another hour their stomachs remain empty.
If we peel away House Gloucester's troops, we can create an opening in the enemy ranks. Once that's done, we'll bring an end to Claude's shady scheme.
Interesting. It seems the Empire may not want our heads on pikes after all.
That is good news. I was concerned they might be so upset as to seek your execution. But based on their posturing, it seems those fears were groundless.
Well, I am an effective lord, if I do say so myself. They must realize taking my life would make it difficult to keep order on my lands.
Few lords anywhere in Fodlan are as loved and respected by their people as you, Father.
Perhaps. But if so, that only makes my misjudgment all the more grave. I never should have let that man cajole me into starting such a needless fight.
You say that now because we lost, but would your appraisal not be different in the face of victory? The people would have idolized you for ushering House Gloucester toward even greater prosperity.
Questions of what if matter little after you lose a battle, and even less after you have misled your people. The time to judge the right and wrong of things is before, not after. It is for this reason that I have decided to yield command of our house to you. I only pray you might walk us back from the terrible misstep I have made. Besides which, the Empire still views me as a traitor. If I fail to step down now, I will spend the rest of my days wondering when the axe might fall.
I understand, Father. With all that has happened, it is hard not to see the wisdom in your decision. I will find a way to build a newer, stronger House Gloucester alongside the Empire. And just as it did before, our house will shine brighter than any in Leicester.
Your Majesty, Gloucester has yielded his lands and titles to his firstborn son, Lawrence. This new Count Gloucester has expressed a desire to join the Empire. No doubt, he wishes to make his loyalty plain by taking a clear stand against House Regan.
Well, I see no reason to reject his offer. See that his soldiers are properly integrated.
As you wish, Your Majesty.
Sometimes I have no idea what goes through your noble heads. How can you possibly trust a house that just plunged a knife into your back? If a merc pulled a stunt like that, they'd either be cast aside or cut down where they stood.
I believe it, and I'd like to do the same. But not just anyone can hold Gloucester territory together, and I have no one else to take Lawrence's place.
I suppose no one would put up with the aristocracy if it didn't afford some sort of stability.
Yes, that is simply the way of things in Fodlan now. But as I've told you, I intend to change this. The age of deciding our rulers by blood must end. A day will come when anyone can vie for the right to rule, and then we will be free of this wretched system. So stand with me. Help me make it so.
Scarlet Blaze. The Triumph of Valor. To rescue Count Bergles, Edelgard seizes the Great Bridge of Myrden, forcing Count Gloucester's surrender. With no time to lose, she then presses on, unbowed. But Claude is not one to be caught off guard. He rallies every resource at his disposal, determined to tighten the noose around Bergles's forces and prevent any rescue.
So we've lost Gloucester. Unavoidable, perhaps, but it still stings all the same. Fortunately, I haven't been sitting on my hands this whole time. If we smash the Imperial reinforcements and stop them from breaking the siege, Count Bergles will have no choice but to give up. We're going to face that challenge, and we're going to face it with the Alliance's latest and greatest, which is why I've asked all of you here.
Did you really just say latest and greatest with a straight face?
Oh, he said it all right. And while I can't swear we'll have that, we do at least have numbers on our side.
Yep! More than half of the old Golden Deer House is here!
Some of us may not be quite as great as you say, but... well, you know best.
I'm grateful to each of you for answering the call. It's more than I can say for some of our classmates.
Yeah, Ignatz and Lawrence both sided with the enemy.
About that. It pains me to say this, but House Ardelia has made its allegiance to the Empire clear. It was against my parents' protests that I came here in the first place. If this battle doesn't unfold the way you're hoping, I may be forced to leave as quickly as I arrived.
That's okay, Lysithia. You're not the only one who's here with strings attached.
Yes. My adoptive father has also insisted I return home at once, should the tides turn against us.
Sounds about right. 3 cheers for that good old Alliance solidarity.
I'll fight with you to the end, Claude! Unless it puts Maya in danger. Then I'm out.
Look, what matters is that you're all here, and that we settle this war with the next battle. Also, for full disclosure, I may have sort of brought along some extra professional muscle. Come on in.
It's good to meet you. I'm the acting captain of Gerald's mercenaries.
Our guest here is fresh off another battle with the Empire on Kingdom soil. From what I gather, remaining in the Kingdom was no longer an option. And that's when our paths crossed here in Alliance territory.
Oh, hello! I know reliable when I see it, and you are definitely that.
I'll do whatever you ask, as long as I'm getting paid. So long as we're allied, I won't fail you.
Right. Let's begin our council. As you've no doubt heard from our scouts, the path from here to Deirdre will be fraught with difficulties.
The Alliance has constructed fortresses and palisades, and laid other traps to slow our progress. In addition, they are plotting ambushes at key positions along the way. Needless to say, we will not be able to avail ourselves of the direct route.
But if we try to dance around all their traps, we'll never make it in time.
Yes, but this is Count Bergles we're talking about. He could probably stretch his soldiers a few extra days through sheer force of will.
I would normally write off such an idea as lunacy, but sadly, it will likely come to that. We have made attempts to smuggle provisions to Count Berkeley's through holes in the enemy lines, but this has met with little success.
They must be so hungry. I know just how that feels. The struggle to get food when all you want to do is hide under your covers. Hello, old friend.
I mean, no offense, but if time is truly so short, why do we waste it dithering in council? We should embark on our rescue mission straight away!
Yeah, what are we waiting for? We're their only hope.
I agree. Less talking, more saving.
Calm down, all of you. Such rash action is exactly what Claude is counting on.
So we must take the safe route, but do so as quickly as possible. A best of both worlds situation, I suppose. Understood.
Good. With that decided, let's move on and discuss our preferred formation.